In the small village of Eldwin, close to the wide blue sea, lived a woman named Lyra. The village was peaceful, with little houses made of stone, green fields, and tall trees. Fishermen sailed every morning, and children played near the shore. But even in this beautiful place, Lyra's heart was full of sadness. Lyra had been married to Marin for many years. Marin was a kind man, strong and hard-working. At first, they were very happy together. They dreamed of having children who would run and play near the sea, children who would fill their home with laughter. But the years passed, and no child came. The people in Eldwin started talking. In this village, having children was very important. A woman who could not have children was often seen as unlucky. Some women whispered behind Lyra's back. Others looked at her with pity. Some were not kind at all. They said cruel words that Lyra tried not to hear, but every word hurt her deeply. Marin's family also began to pressure him. They told him to marry another woman, a woman who could give him children. At first, Marin always defended Lyra. He told his family that he loved his wife and needed no other. But as more years passed, Marin became quiet. He did not speak of his pain, but Lyra could feel it. His silence was like a heavy stone on her heart. Every evening when the sun began to set, Lyra walked to the high cliffs near the sea. She sat under an old willow tree that bent toward the water. "There," she cried, softly, speaking to the sea as if it could hear her. "O great sea," she whispered, "why do you not bless me with a child? What wrong have I done? My arms are empty and my heart is breaking." The waves rolled gently, shining under the moonlight. The wind carried her soft cries across the dark water. But no answer ever came. The sea stayed silent, as if it did not. Care days turned into months. Months turned into years. Lyra's pain grew heavier with each passing day. She smiled less. Her eyes lost their light. Even when she stood beside Marin, she felt alone. Her home, once filled with love, now felt cold and empty. The villagers no longer whispered. They simply looked at her with sad eyes, as if she was cursed. Lyra carried her sorrow quietly, but inside her heart, a storm was always raging. One night, after another argument between Marin and his family, Lyra felt she could not bear the pain any longer. The words of Marin's mother echoed in her mind. "You will never give him a child. You are useless." With tears falling from her eyes, Lyra walked to the sea once again. The moon was full and bright. The air was still and the waves were calm. She fell to her knees near the edge of the cliff, her hands shaking. "Please," she whispered to the sea, "help me." And that night, the sea listened. Lyra sat under the old willow tree by the sea. The moon was full and its light made the water shine like silver. The night was quiet. Only the sound of waves filled the air. Lyra's tears fell like small drops of rain on the rocks below. She whispered, "Please, spirits of the sea, help me. I only want one child. I only want to be a mother." Suddenly, the waves stopped moving. The wind grew still. The air felt different, almost magical. Then from the dark water something appeared. It was a mermaid. The mermaid was beautiful and strange. Her tail sparkled like shining jewels. Her hair was long and silver, flowing like a river in the wind. Her eyes were deep and full of old secrets. Lyra gasped. She had heard stories of sea spirits, but she never thought they were real. She wanted to run, but her legs would not move. The mermaid spoke, and her voice was like a soft song. "Do not fear me, woman of the land," she said. "I have heard your cries many nights. Your heart is full of sorrow." Lyra's hands shook, but she found the courage to speak. "Yes, kind spirit, my heart is broken. I want a child, but I cannot have one. The people in my village laugh at me. My husband's family wants him to leave me. My life feels empty." The mermaid listened carefully. She did not interrupt. She understood Lyra's pain. After a long silence, the mermaid spoke again. "Your pain has reached the deep waters. I can help you. I can give you a child. But there is a price." Lyra's eyes widened. A price? She asked softly. The mermaid nodded. Yes. The child will be yours to love and raise. But on the child's 16th birthday, you must return them to the sea. The child belongs to the ocean. Do you accept this gift knowing one day you must give it back? Lyra's heart beat fast. She had waited so long for this chance. She had cried for years. Now, the chance was here. But the cost was heavy. She thought about the empty house, the empty cradle, and the pain of never hearing a child's laughter. Tears filled her eyes again. She whispered, "Yes, I accept." The mermaid reached out her hand and touched Lyra's forehead. A warm light spread through Lyra's body. She felt peaceful, like a great weight had been lifted from her. "It is done," said the mermaid. "Soon you will carry a child. Raise the child with love. But remember your promise." With that, the mermaid slowly sank back into the water. The waves started to move again and the wind returned. The sea was calm, but Lyra's heart was full of hope for the first time in many years. She stood up, touched her belly gently, and walked back to her home under the stars, knowing her life was about to change forever. Months passed after the mermaid's visit. Soon, something wonderful happened. Lyra found out she was going to have a baby. She was full of happiness and hope. For many years, she had dreamed of this moment. The people in the village were surprised. Some whispered, "How can this be? She was barren for so long." Others said, "It is a miracle." Even Marin, Lyra's husband, was shocked at first, but soon he smiled again. He held Lyra's hand and said, "At last, we will have a child, my love." Lyra's belly grew day by day. Marin became kind again. He took care of her, brought her fresh fruits and warm soup, and made sure she rested. The villagers stopped mocking her. Instead, they came to visit, bringing small gifts for the baby. For the first time in many years, Lyra felt truly happy. Finally, the day came. Under a bright morning sun, Lyra gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. The baby had blue eyes like the sea and silver hair that shone in the sunlight. They named her Mira. Mira was a special child from the start. She rarely cried and smiled often. Her laughter was like music, filling the house with joy. As she grew, Mira loved to play near the water. She would sit by the sea for hours, listening to the waves as if they spoke to her. The villagers loved Mira too. "She is like a gift from the ocean," they often said. Marin was proud of his daughter and held her high in his arms. Lyra's heart was full, but deep inside, she never forgot the mermaid's words. Years passed quickly. Mira grew into a bright, kind, and beautiful young girl. She helped her mother with chores, sang sweet songs, and often spoke to the sea as if it was her friend. The waves always seemed calm when she was near, and sometimes dolphins swam close to shore as if playing with her. But as Mira's 16th birthday came closer, Lyra's heart grew heavy. At night, she sat by Mira's bed, watching her sleep. She whispered to herself, "The time is coming. How can I give her up? She is my whole world." Lyra didn't tell Marin about the promise. She feared he would not understand. She feared he would blame her or try to stop what could not be stopped. So she kept her sorrow deep inside. Mira noticed her mother's sadness. One evening she asked, "Mother, why do you look so sad? Is something wrong?" Lyra forced a smile and said, "No, my child. I am just thinking about how fast you have grown." Mira hugged her mother and said, "Don't be sad. I will always be with you." But Lyra knew the truth. The day of the promise was coming, and soon the sea would return to take what it had given. The day of Mira's 16th birthday finally arrived. The sun was bright during the day, but Lyra's heart was heavy like a dark cloud. She smiled for Mira, but inside she was breaking. Marin prepared a small celebration. The villagers came, with gifts and blessings. Everyone was happy. They sang songs and ate sweet bread. But Lyra barely spoke. She kept looking at the sea, knowing what was waiting beneath the waves. As the sun set, the sky turned orange and pink. The full moon slowly rose, shining bright like silver. The sea grew calm and still. The wind stopped. The night felt strange, as if the world was holding its breath. When the last guest left, Mira saw her mother standing alone by the shore. She walked to her and softly asked, "Mother, will you tell me now why you are so sad?" Lyra could not hold her tears anymore. She hugged Mira tightly. "My dear child, there is something I must tell you," she whispered. Lyra told Mira everything: the night under the willow tree, the mermaid's promise, and the price she had to pay. Her voice trembled, and her tears fell like rain. Mira listened quietly. When her mother finished, she held Lyra's hands gently and said, "Mother, do not cry. You gave me life. You gave me love. I was happy every day because of you. If I must go, I will go with love in my heart." At that moment, the sea began to glow. The water shimmered, and soft singing filled the air. The mermaid rose from the deep. She looked the same as before, beautiful and calm, with her silver hair and shining tail. "It is time," the mermaid said softly. Lyra fell to her knees and begged, "Please, I beg you, do not take my daughter. She is my only child. She is my whole life." The mermaid's eyes showed sadness, but her voice stayed calm. "The sea always takes what belongs to it. You made the promise, dear mother." Mira stepped forward bravely. "Mother, you gave me everything. Now let me honor your promise." She turned to the mermaid and took her hand. The mermaid smiled kindly at Mira. Together they slowly walked into the shining water. The waves opened gently, and the sea swallowed them without a sound. Lyra stayed on the shore, crying and calling her daughter's name. The sea sparkled under the moonlight, but Mira was gone. From that day on, the sea near Eldwin changed. Fishermen said they saw a young maiden swimming with the fish, guiding boats safely home. Storms grew weaker, and the sea sang soft songs at night. Lyra would often sit by the shore looking at the waves. Though her heart ached, she found some peace knowing that Mira lived on, part of the sea, part of the mystery, forever free.